What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 204 of the Clever and Original Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Kayley Misialek, alongside me, the man with a plan, Jayden Reinhart.
Yeah, I'm here again. Just scoot that mouse out of the screen. Don't worry about it. Not important.
No. And Mr. Nirvana shirt guy himself, JJ Larson, not here today.
Nope.
Again. What a jerk.
What a jerk. Still in Poland, eating amazing food, apparently.
Well, I mean, the Polish people do have amazing food.
Yeah.
I should know.
I just want that food here. I deserve it more than he does.
You can. They sell like Polish sausage and things like.
Yeah.
Stores. I mean, there's somewhat of a. I mean, it's not a lot like a smallish Polish descendants around here.
Yeah.
Like my family is, and you had a few others around.
But I feel like if I wanted like a Polish dish, I'd have to make it myself. Like, there's no restaurants.
I mean, yeah, there's
here,
no restaurants around here that do it.
Yeah.
I mean, every Polish dish I've had around here at least has been like, somebody makes it, not like a store or anything.
Yeah.
Like that. But yeah, which is kind of unfortunate, but
I don't want to cook stuff that takes effort.
Yeah.
It takes time and
yeah,
effort.
who wants to cook food?
Yeah.
Who wants to take care of themselves?
Even though I do that for a job.
Well, I can understand. I guess I can understand that. I clean dishes right at work, and I'm like, I come home and I'm like, I do not want to fucking clean these dishes. It's like I clean hundreds of dishes in a day, and then I come home with like 3 dishes, and I'm like, screw that. I am done with dishes. Fuck that. And then they just pile up and everything, and then they're like to the ceiling, and yeah. So
it's fine.
So if you haven't listened to us before, we are the Clever and Original Podcast. We talk about comic book movie type stuff, video game type stuff, particularly in that order.
Yeah.
So let's get on with it.
Cool.
Oh, I'm back from New York, so that was cool.
Yeah.
I actually, we talked about the juice last week is what I should play on the plane. I didn't really play anything.
No.
I watched like Netflix and stuff. Like I downloaded some things because no internet on the plane or anything. Although I did
shows or?
I watched like Queer Eye and Jessica Jones season 3. I started watching that.
Okay.
Even though that came out back in April?
Yeah. Well, the whole like debacle with them not going anymore.
Yeah,
because
it's like it's like this is canceled already, and there's like, I mean. Yeah, I still want to watch it because I really like the show.
Yeah,
but it was just like disheartening going into it, knowing that this is it. This sucks.
Yeah.
So yeah, I watched Queer Eye. I watched that. I also Captain Marvel was on the plane, and I haven't seen that since it was in theaters, so I watched that.
Nice.
Yeah. So pretty cool. But anyway, I guess I did play some Legend of Zelda.
Okay.
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Anyway, with the show news topics, we have some this week, which we haven't had a lot of for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still not a lot, but it's more than we have had in the past couple episodes.
Woo.
Deadpool 2. The director, David Leitch, has addressed the rumors of Deadpool 3 not being rated R, potentially because now it's owned by Marvel proper and Disney, I guess, instead of Fox.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, he says, quote, "It's rated R, so that's not necessarily the MCU brand, but he doesn't necessarily need to be R, and Disney don't necessarily need to only make PG-13 movies." He told Yahoo Movies UK, "I think we'll find a happy ground," is what he said.
Okay.
So yeah, basically saying that it doesn't need to be rated R, which kind of gives me the feeling of like, oh shit, they're not gonna do rated R.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I guess technically, yes, Deadpool doesn't need to be in a rated R film.
Yeah.
But that being said, if it's not rated R, I'm going to have a fit.
Yeah, I think you're with a large portion of the crowd there. I mean, when you think about it, like Disney versus Deadpool, Deadpool's definitely the more flexible out of the two. Because you can put him anywhere, and as long as he's like breaking the fourth wall every now and again, making like little tiny like jokes about things outside the movie and all that. Like Deadpool can be Deadpool in almost any setting, but Disney's pretty hard set in never making an R-rated movie.
Yeah, at least not having their name attached
to it. Yeah, and in this scenario, then it would be. So, I mean, I want it to be rated R.
It should be.
It should be rated R. I think Disney is a little silly about not making rated R films.
I mean, I feel like Deadpool would be like, in a PG-13 movie, would be like breaking the fourth wall. Like, what the fuck? I can't say fuck. This fucking sucks. I should be able to like cut this guy's body parts off. Why am I not rated R? Except, like, they couldn't actually say that because it's... I feel like in a PG-13 Deadpool, there would have to be some self-referential things about why it sucks that it's not rated R.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he would definitely like be going in, like cut someone's head off, and it would like pause right in front of it, and he'd come out onto the screen.
He's like, okay, guys, we know you're supposed to be seeing, but we have to be rated PG-13 for the kiddies. Disney doesn't want to see that have their brand ruined, so. Here, we're stopping it. But I will tell you, it was a really gory and that shit. Okay, now we'll skip ahead a bit and we'll continue on with the movie.
And then he just like cuts to a part where like kicks a guy and then like sheathes his katana. It's like, ah. I mean, they could do what they did with was it Deadpool 1 or 2 that they made a PG-13
Deadpool 2. I didn't actually see that.
I didn't see it either. I heard there was like some additional jokes and whatever. And,
I kind of want to see it just to see what the differences.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, I don't want to see a Deadpool 13 movie. I mean, I can see like Deadpool being like a side character in a PG-13 movie.
Yeah.
But like in a main Deadpool movie, I don't want to see it PG-13. I want to see like R, like if Deadpool is the main character, it should be rated R.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's just kind of how he is as a character.
Right.
Yeah, because you're right. If he was like a side character, he could like go off, do his like bloody gory things, and come back and be like, "Oh man, you should have saw his head. It was like phew," and that kind of stuff. Yeah, and it would still work out because he can still like talk about it and it's still funny. But
right, because
in his own movie, you're not following anyone else.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So I mean. Yeah, I mean, look, it's the guy's like, oh, it doesn't necessarily have to be rated R, which is, yeah, I get, it technically doesn't have to be. But the way it sounds is like, it sounds like tampering expectations so that when it's not rated R, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Like, people are still going to be upset.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But that being said, Disney definitely can do rated R. And besides, they don't even put their name onto the films.
Yeah, it's never like it might be in the end of the credits, I think.
Like, it's not like, maybe. I think so. But like, with, like, they had Tomorrowland or whatever, these other live action films that have like the Disney name on it. And like Marvel films, it never shows the Disney like logo before the film or anything. It's only Marvel.
Yeah.
And the same with Star Wars, they don't put the Disney like name in front of it. It's only Lucasfilm, Star Wars.
Yeah.
And so I guess I don't see an issue with that. Like, I mean, people know it, but like, first off, if it's rated R, what kid is going to see it? Yeah. I mean, obviously,
Right, it's not.
But like,
won't let them,
but like, even if they did, they aren't gonna like make the association with Disney.
Disney's hardcore now. No.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe some angry parents, but like, what are they gonna do?
Yeah.
Stop showing their kids Disney movies? That's not gonna fucking happen.
No.
Okay.
God, no.
Okay. Like, like parents are still gonna show their kids like Cinderella, Frozen, Snow White, all these old Disney Lion King, whatever, all these cartoon kids movies.
Yeah.
They're still going to show them that. They're not going to be like, oh, screw Disney now for making a rated R Deadpool movie that I am never going to see or that my kids are never going to see.
Yeah, we're going to
screw them. I'm going to stop having my kid watch their favorite movies ever and become the bad parent.
Yeah.
I mean, there is competition now for Disney, but still there's not much competition in like children's cartoons.
It's a pretty heavy monopoly. On Disney's side.
like come on.
Yeah, they basically own our children.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think Disney should be very okay with making Deadpool rated R. And I feel I should be okay with making other films rated R. I mean, granted, there's only like certain on what type of films you can do rated R, but like still. I mean, that's an issue I had with like the Netflix Marvel shows, is that they're rated R, right? And they technically connected to the MCU, but they never like actually did.
Yeah.
I guess they were technically in a different part of the universe, but then like the movies never reference anything that happened in there. Not even like Spider-Man, which is like okay. Sorry, I'm like, this like brain is like going right here. Yeah. But like Spider-Man of all of them should reference like the Netflix ones because he's a New York-based superhero.
Yeah.
However, they don't ever seem to put Spider-Man in New York. Every single film with Spider-Man in it has had him somewhere but New York.
Yeah.
So yeah, even Homecoming, which was like okay, it's the final climax is in New York. It really wasn't. Like it was in the air of New York, and then they were in Washington D.C. for some fucking reason.
Yeah. But New York dodged like almost all the damage.
Yeah.
They didn't get like broken to pieces like most major superheroes tend to do to their
Yeah,
cities.
like the only thing that happened in New York in the MCU really has been the first Avengers, and I guess Infinity War too, where the aliens come and things like that. But even the thing in Infinity War wasn't that much. The only real thing that happened there was like the attack on New York in the first Avengers film. Yeah. So Anyway, yeah, and then these new Marvel shows that are going to be connected to the MCU, made by the Marvel Studios, like the movie division and not the TV division, are going to be PG-13 on Disney Plus. And so, like, the whole going from R to now, like, PG-13 is, like, really bothering. It feels like it is because they're canceling the rated R shows and getting new ones that are PG-13, and I'm just like, why can I not have these rated R shows that I like? They're like my favorite things about Marvel right now, and they're getting rid of them.
Yeah, it's dumb. I mean, I guess what I could understand Disney doing is if, like, when Disney makes their own films, like PG-13 or less, that's fine. But any like company they own should be allowed to make rated R films.
Right?
I think.
Right, like Pixar should be allowed to make rated R films.
Sure. It'd be weird.
But no, I mean, Marvel should be. I mean, they have Blade, right? And Blade was a rated R film series trilogy.
Yeah.
So, like, they're making a Blade film. We talked about it, like, a week or two ago. That should be rated R. Probably.
Yeah, if it's not, that's
it could. I guess it could not be, but at the same time, it's like, come on, give us some rated R things, like these characters who are like dark, like Deadpool, like Blade, like Daredevil, Jessica Jones. Moon Knight. When are we gonna get a fucking Moon Knight film? I've been saying it since we started this podcast 4 years ago. Give me a flippin' Moon Knight film.
What if we got a Moon Knight film, but it was rated PG?
Or a show. I'll take a Netflix show, but I guess we're not doing those anymore.
Yeah. God damn it, Marvel. Or I guess Disney.
Disney,
Kinda sounds like
Marvel,
it's more
same
Disney.
thing.
Yeah, they are the same thing now.
Well, I mean, Marvel. I guess it's Marvel's decision, but they're doing like, what are they doing? They're doing the Eternals and things, and Moon Knight is over here like the best character ever, and it's just like, screw you. We're gonna go hang out with Shang-Chi. Okay. Okay, moving on. So ABC is looking at making a new Marvel TV show based on superheroes. They have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is PG-13 as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a show I just couldn't keep myself to keep watching. Like, I was like, okay, I'll watch this because I'm a good MCU fan and I want to know everything. And you know, there were good parts in it. It was not terrible, but it's just like I can't force myself to keep watching this.
Yeah,
like it's okay. Like there are episodes I enjoy, but like it's not good enough for me to just keep being invested and keep forcing myself to watch it.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
So anyway. But they're saying ABC's mentioning that they always want at least one Marvel show on the network at all times, at any given time. And then they are looking at bringing a new superhero show with a female-led group of superheroes to be on the television screen and be the central characters of it. And that something would be, quote, something brand new, mostly. So, thoughts on a female-led Marvel superhero TV show on ABC?
I could see it. Yeah, I mean, it sounds pretty good to me. Honestly, as far as superheroes go, it's hard to make something like awful, you know?
I don't know.
Marvel's
Inhumans, Inhumans was pretty bad. That was fairly recent.
Yeah,
that was ABC too.
Yeah. Well, you can always give it another shot.
I don't know. Like the thing is, like with Netflix, right? They had like this great budget, you know, and they could do things that you can't do on like network television.
Yeah.
Network. Yeah. And yeah, I feel like that made it so much better than like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and things like that. And yeah, Inhumans was just terrible. Don't watch it. I watched it. I didn't even. I watched the first like 3 episodes, and it was just so bad.
Yeah.
So bad. Like I powered through the first half season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and it got better. I'm like, okay, I guess, yeah, these things I saw at the beginning, they're paying off. Here I was just like, no, I can't do it anymore. Like, it's just that bad.
Yeah.
This was supposed to be a movie. It's just done. Get rid of them. Inhumans don't exist. I want that movie now. Give me that. But yeah, I mean, I guess a superhero show could work.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, ABC hasn't done really well, in my opinion, in regards to like super powered people.
Yeah, I mean, especially their recent history, but
I mean, they did technically work on the Netflix Marvel shows.
Oh, okay, I didn't know.
Like ABC's television group, but like,
okay,
but like,
but with Netflix's
but like
budget
and the fact that they don't have to like hold themselves back to like meet a certain like television rating.
Yeah. Netflix definitely has the upper hand in that regards. Because, I mean, it's the same kind of discussion we're having with Deadpool, rated R versus PG-13. Like, there's just some things you won't be able to do with a lower rating like that.
Right.
So, Netflix versus live television.
I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be Netflix either. Just, you know, fucking network TV, cable TV, you know, versus like a streaming service or like a subscription-based thing where, you know, not everyone has. You can kind of do things that you normally wouldn't do.
Yeah.
to protect the children.
Yes, we cannot let our children know violence exists in our world.
Doing a great job of that, America.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not like, it's not something I'm like super pumped about that they're doing this, but it's important enough that I'm gonna like keep an eye on it.
Yeah, I mean, I won't. I'll try not to dismiss it out of hand.
Right.
Like the thing is, like like on Hulu, The Runaways. That's a good show, and that's like PG-13.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that. I still haven't watched season 2, but that's because I ran out of Hulu or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I want to see it. Season 1 was really good. That was a PG-13 show. And so Marvel can do like good PG-13 things.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I don't know. ABC is kind of like damaged it. So I'm not as like I'm a little more skeptical going into these things. But I mean, I'll try to keep an open mind and see how it is going into it and things like that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot go into making a movie, so anything could make it awful, anything could make it great. Maybe they get an amazing writer and,
yeah,
you know, blow it out of the water. It's tough to know these kind of things before you actually see it, but yeah, we'll see, I suppose. ABC, round 2.
Round 3? I don't know. They did Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they did Agent Carter, and then they did Inhumans. But I mean, Agent Carter doesn't really. That was the same time as Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
So
kind of like one, and then anyway, yeah. Okay. So moving on. So Sony and their Spider-Man universe thingy. You know, they made Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
That was directed by Chris Miller and Phil Lord, and they have been contracted to a 5-year deal to work with Sony characters to make future Marvel TV shows. And now Chris Miller is providing an update saying that some of these here, let's just give the quote. Talking to Deadline, quote, "We are developing a handful of live action shows using Sony's Marvel characters, of which there are 900 characters. We're figuring out a way to develop the shows so that each are their own unique experience, but are also related." So, they're developing a Sony Marvel TV universe, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if this is all connected. Like, is this stuff connected to Into the Spider-Verse? Is this stuff connected to the Venom film?
Yeah.
I don't think this is connected to the MCU, but I mean, maybe it is.
I mean, the more pieces you're putting in this puzzle, like way more fucked up it gets.
Well, it's like, okay, so this is still like, you know, what is it? 2013, 2014, like logic, you know, with movie studios, like. Marvel makes, you know, the MCU leading up to the Avengers, which is like a huge hit, massive hit, like one of the biggest things ever.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, okay, we need our own shared universe. So DC makes Man of Steel, and they're making like Batman v Superman and things like that, and they're gonna make Justice League. And then you've got like X-Men starting to make other X-Men films, and they're like Fantastic Four, and then people are like, no, that sucks, and they're like, okay, no Fantastic Four. And then Sony's like, we have Spider-Man. That's it. That's all we have. How do we like milk this thing dry so that we take every single inch of this and sell it? Okay, Venom, right?
Yeah.
Carnage, okay. Black Cat and like Canary or something. And you're like, okay, kind of weird, but okay. Then it's like Mephisto, and you're like, okay. You know, Vampire Dude.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. I mean, I could at least understand, like, something like Universal Zombie, or, like, not Zombie, Monster Universe.
Yeah.
Like, with The Mummy, you know, Dracula, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Frankenstein. I can understand that.
Yeah.
You know, this, it's just like reaching, like they're reaching for like, that says Marvel on it. Okay, that character is a side character, like J. Jonah Jameson's like assistant. Okay, make him into his own show with him as the lead character. It says Marvel on it. That's all it needs. Okay, now let's make a ton of these. We're gonna make a ton of these shows and get as much as we can out of this and have a shared universe. And DC is like, okay, screw it, let's just actually make good films.
Yeah.
They kind of threw away that thing after, they failed. Universal's thing failed.
Mm-hmm.
X-Men definitely failed. I mean, Fox failed. I mean, look, they're now part of Disney/Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
But Sony is just like, okay, let's grasp at straws here. Let's try to milk it for as much as we can. Well, like back even with the Andrew Garfield stuff, they're like, we're gonna make a big Sinister Six movie, and then they failed, and now Spider-Man's a part of the MCU.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Is it like worth trying at this point? Not really, at least not for Sony. Like, I mean, I guess they kind of, with having only Spider-Man, they probably took the best turn they could by trying to use the villains, because that's what there's the most of.
Mm-hmm.
If you just have Spider-Man, that's what you got, basically. You got Spider-Man, you got all his villains. Might as well try to focus on the villains and do kind of like a team-up film with that, but I don't know. Spider-Man's had a pretty rocky past.
Well, I mean that's really all there is to Spider-Man besides, Spider-Man, which Marvel is using. So, I guess use the villains.
They're not left with much, and I don't know, the way things are going, they're probably not going to have anything at the end of it.
I'd just be fine with like the Into the Spider-Verse stuff.
Yeah.
The multiple Spider-Man.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But like all this stuff is just like, okay. We haven't really seen any. The only thing we've seen is Venom, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing we've seen out of all this stuff. But there's like a shit ton of things that are in development, like I mentioned, Black Cat and the Canary and Mephisto and, Venom 2 and now all these TV shows. And it's just like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I guess on one hand, though, it is kind of interesting to get the villain's perspective on things. Like, I know they're just kind of doing this because it's all they got. But, like, this isn't like some, like, sudden, like, revelation. Like, oh, what if we did this? Like, this is just, oh, well, we got this, so let's work with it. But, I mean, traditionally, stories are, there's the good guy, and there's the bad guy, and the good guy beats the bad guy. And that's the story, and the good guy wins, and they are a better person because of it. But you never really follow the bad guy,
Well, yeah, because you have to make the bad guy into the good guy, right?
Yeah.
Well, like, I mean, the protagonist,
that, yeah. So then the bad guy becomes the good guy, and there's
because you have
more
to
bad guy.
Because like you have to root for it. You can't have a character that you're rooting against as the main character, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess the way, because there's a anime called Death Note, and I'm not going to get super into it. I don't know if anyone who watches this is super into anime like I am. But the idea is this book falls from the sky, and if you write someone's name in it, that person dies. And you can get specific, and there's rules and stuff. And it's like this kind of like strategic, like mind versus mind sort of anime, and they're like trying to outthink each other. And at the end of it, spoiler alert for a super old anime, when the main character you've been following the whole time who has this like death note dies, like, I don't know, you kind of been rooting for him the whole time, but you super understand it at the end. It's like, yeah, he's kind of an asshole. Like, he killed a lot of people, and he was sort of power hungry. Like, he wasn't really that good of a guy. But during the process, you were rooting for him. So you kind of got to do that thing,
Yeah.
Like, make the villain so it's like, oh, look at all this bad shit that's happened to them. That makes him into this person. Or like The Killing Joke. Jesus, that's a way better example. Have you heard of or seen The Killing Joke?
I kind of know what it is. I mean, I know the story, but I'm just curious how that's turning into following like the Joker.
Well,
right?
yeah, the message is the difference between the Joker and Batman is one bad day.
Okay.
Sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I think, isn't that a line from Daredevil and Punisher?
I
think I just
stole
that
yeah,
from
yeah,
Daredevil
yeah,
and Punisher.
yeah. Well, like in Daredevil season 2, Punisher's like, "You're one bad day away from being me."
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like one decision is kind of what it's going for. The Joker has this like string of bad luck, and he turns it into like being evil. And Batman has this string of bad luck, and he turns it into being good.
Right.
So, and that's what it like focuses on. And it's really good. The Killing Joke is really amazing. The animated film, the comic book is even better, I would assume. I haven't read it. But I don't know. It's like interesting to kind of see that perspective.
I mean,
of things,
yeah, I guess like speaking of Daredevil, I really like, I think it's in season 1, but just like the whole like theme of it's like, is Daredevil like actually a good guy?
Yeah.
Because like, I think it's like his priest says something like, just because one guy's evil doesn't make you good.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, you're fighting this bad guy, but does that make you a good guy? No.
Not necessarily, yeah.
You know, it's not black and white. And so I guess that's sort of the thing you got to do with like villains, right?
Yeah, you got to take the whole like moral compass, like is good good and is bad bad kind of thing to make it work. Or I think in the case of Venom, I haven't seen the movie. I should. But I believe in the case of Venom, they find a more evil guy.
Yeah.
And so Venom is evil, you know, is Spider-Man's villain, but there's a more evil guy who's worse than Venom. And so Venom has to, it's like a Suicide Squad kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. It's
like,
like
we're the good guys this time.
Yeah. We're the good guys. See, we're a bunch of like serial killers and things like that. But there's this
it's fine.
Giant evil thing.
Yeah. Passes the pass.
Oh my gosh. So speaking of Suicide Squad, like the thing is like the government like has this evil like demon thing and they just like let it out because they're just like, oh, see, we can use this, and then it like escapes, right? And it's destroying the world. And they're like, okay, let's take these serial killers and use them to kill this demon thing.
Yeah, government isn't making the best move, I guess. I feel like there's a better...
yeah, let's just call like Superman or Batman.
Yeah, you know that guy that never dies?
Or
Superman. Let's call him. You just fucking like hog tie it and bring it back.
Why do we have to use these villains who we know are terrible and could probably just escape? We just are going to use the opportunity to escape and do evil shit.
Yeah. It's a little silly. Suicide Squad.
Well, I mean, superheroes are a little silly.
Yeah.
But, I mean, still, even for a superhero film, that's kind of a ridiculous sort of thing with the in-universe, like, rules and everything.
Yeah. But, yeah, I don't know. I guess.
Spider-Man stuff,
villains, gotta play the cause with which you have.
Yep.
And hopefully they'll find a way to make it interesting. There have been good, interesting villains before. Even Homecoming, not Falcon. What's his name?
Vulture,
yeah. He's a cool hero, villain.
Yeah, but, like, he also wasn't the main character.
Even not being the main character, though, you get a huge, like, look into his life.
Sure.
Like the opening scene.
Sure, but it's like 30 minutes versus, like, an hour.
Yeah, right. I mean, there's definitely going to be a lot more screen time for these villains, but if you kind of play it the same way, you know? Like, look, they're a family man. Look, they have lives outside of being evil.
Right.
They're doing this for a good reason, like Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good examples, but so my point is, it's possible that they can do it well.
It's possible.
But will they? That's the real question.
There's good in everybody is the moral.
Well, it's like the yin yang thing. There's a little evil in every piece of good, and there's a little good in every piece of evil.
Okay, sure. Moving on. This is for movie type stuff. Let's get into some video games type stuff. Really some unfortunate things. So, like, there's two shootings this past week. So, Walmart has removed some violent imagery in their video game sections. And people are thinking that's like them it's them kind of taking down violent things. But I guess the report is that they're just doing it for the time being, that it's not like a permanent thing to not like take down violence. Because obviously, I mean, studies after studies have shown that violent video games don't have any effect on making people like become like shooters or anything like that, or killers or any violent things like that. So don't believe that shit.
Yeah. It's I don't know, it's people will just kind of believe what they want. But I don't know, I mean the news too likes to blow things out of proportion and take a spin on things that'll get them more views. And honestly, that's probably a big reason why Walmart's doing. Like, you think the CEO of Walmart's doing this because he truly believes? Probably not. Do you think he's doing this because he thinks he's going to make a lot of money off publicity? Probably.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's probably just like, like you said, a PR move.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's just trying to like, look, I'm the good guy kind of thing. Like, there's no... When it comes to like big corporations, most of the moves they make are based off of how much money they're going to make.
Mm-hmm. Right.
If I do this, will I make more money? Not is it a good or a bad thing,
Right. Or like kind of stop the bleeding, so to speak.
Yeah.
Even though, it's clearly not their fault or anything like that.
Yeah, it's not like they had a hand in it.
So yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Violent video games don't cause people to do this, although for some reason the media is deciding to put that back into the... I thought we were past all this,
Yeah, right.
I thought we were like,
it's
just like, that doesn't actually do anything, and we stopped that. But I guess they're bringing it back. What is old is new again, I guess. Anyway, moving on.
There's a lot of like talk about gambling too. I believe like Overwatch and other companies had been releasing like the probability of like loot crates and stuff, I think.
Interesting.
And then I know GTA had an update, literally casinos. I don't know how they got that. Like actually gambling.
Huh.
I guess they're rich enough. I don't know. Good on you, GTA.
I don't know.
Do whatever.
So that does it for the news this week.
Yeah.
Let's get on to some juice.
Whoa.
So for people like us who've had like video games throughout our lives, who are video game enthusiasts, we have old consoles like N64s, GameCubes, Xbox, PS2s, PS3s, Xbox 360s, Segas, Genesis, maybe NES, Super Nintendo, etc.
Yeah.
What do we do with those when, we're done? There's newer things out like Xbox One, PS4, Nintendo Switch. What do we do with those old consoles? Do we keep them, sell them, toss them? What do we do?
Well, actually, I just realized that I keep mine in a box. Off camera. Hey, it's an old Xbox.
Yeah.
In my old place, and it was just me, there was enough room in my setup to where I could have like all my consoles, essentially.
Right.
There was a couple I had put away. I think the Xbox and my Sega Genesis, I think I kept like stowed away because there just wasn't enough room, but I had them all set up. But even then, like I had imagine 8 different consoles on this display. I played my Xbox. That was about it. Yeah. And I guess a very small amount of my PlayStation 2, because that was actually my first console growing up. Well, PlayStation actually. PS1. So, mostly I just let them sit around.
Yeah. So like my vision, in my head, is like, oh, I want to keep these around because they're retro. I want to just have them to play maybe one day or whatever. But now I'm just like, I want space You know, they take up space, and I never play them. And like now, you can play like older games on your. There are still old games you can't play without the original console or whatever. But like, I mean, with like Xbox particularly, they're like trying to get everything backwards compatible, even to the original Xbox, and things like that. And Nintendo always releases like old things, like they used to do Virtual Console. For some reason now they're not, but whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like they're just taking up space, and I don't know. I think I should sell them, but also I'm like, I don't want to sell them.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It was so I sold my Nintendo 64 and I sold my Sega Genesis. The Sega Genesis for me was a bit easier to sell because I had less attachment with it when I was growing up.
Yeah.
But the N64, holy crap! So in order to sell it to this guy, I'm like, all right, I got to test it. I got to make sure the controllers work, all the games work, all that kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
So I plug it in, and I put Mario Party 2 in, and I plug in my controller, and I start playing it, and I'm like playing a few rounds of a game, like, oh man, do I want to sell this? Maybe I should just keep it. Like,
yeah, like,
I almost convinced myself to not sell it, but then I was like, no, because I know as soon as I like, all right, it works, and turn this off, I'm never gonna play Mario Party 2 again.
Well, see, here's what it's Nintendo 64 specifically.
Mm-hmm.
So my family has an N64, and like what I do is I bring that out to our family's lake cabin. Okay. So if you have like a second like place, or like, I mean, not everyone has that. So
right.
Where okay, well then.
I discovered a secret in Zelda.
So so like take that out. We don't need much technology out there anyway, but having like retro technology, it's fun to play these old things that you normally wouldn't play, but because you're in a situation that you're not in often, that it's kind of like a getaway from your average thing. Like I think that's pretty cool. Like it's like if you have like something where it's like you're not doing, it's something you're using to get away from like your regular daily things. Putting that somewhere is it like a good way to use it, while keeping it. Obviously I can't do that with like everything, right? Like I have like a PS2, an Xbox, an Xbox 360, a GameCube, and things like it's like I don't do that for houses. I mean, I think N64 works because you have so many multiplayer games, and so it's like, I can play with other people like in the room, right? Yeah. Like with Xbox 360, I don't think I can really do that. Most of the games I played on there, they were multiplayer, but like online multiplayer, single person on a screen.
And a lot of those servers for a lot of those games aren't up anymore.
Right. And
with backwards compatibility, I guess they're coming back a bit, but
right. And so it's like, yeah, I mean that. So I can see getting rid of my Xbox, especially with backwards compatibility and things like that. And 64 is a little bit harder. I can also see doing that, but like, generally I think things with like N64, maybe GameCube, are like things I would keep because like of the party aspect. Like
party consoles are easier to keep.
Like
sure.
PS2, only 2 people can play that. Get rid of it. I mean, I guess. And I think most of the games that I really cared about, like I can play newer versions of, or like remakes of, or like ported versions of, and same with Xbox. So yeah, I mean Xbox and PlayStation is a little easier for me to get rid of. Nintendo stuff is a little bit harder because there's a lot more focus on like playing together, like in a room with like Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, etc. So like I can understand, but like, yeah, I get just I have to get rid of them. I need space. They're just taking up space. I don't have enough outlets for this. Yeah. I don't have a TV that's right for these old consoles.
Yeah.
So I might as well get something out of it. I would say sell them, don't throw them.
Yeah, don't
because you can definitely get money for them.
Yeah.
Even if it's like less than $100, I would say it's still worth it.
I mean, and even if you're not getting a whole bunch of money for the console, if you sell the console with games, the games are going to get you a lot of money. That's kind of where it's at with older technology now.
Right, yeah. So yeah. Getting around. It's also kind of like, it's also kind of like, what is it? I can't think of the term now. Shoot. No.
Like,
Bittersweet.
okay, yeah.
Because that's like, yeah, I'm getting money out of this thing. I never use it anymore. But it's like, it has so many memories,
Yeah.
from it. Like, oh, I played this when I was a kid all the time. And,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, oh, that's sad. But it's also like, just like, I'm not going to do this, but you're already not doing it. So, like,
Yeah.
it just brings up the memories again.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Okay. I think that does it for us on this episode.
All right,
Right?
yeah.
So that does it for us on this episode of the Clever and Original Podcast. Jay, if people want to find you on the social media sphere, where can they do that?
If you want to come find me and tell me I'm a monster for selling my Nintendo 64, come find me on Twitter at Jayden Reinhart.
And you can find me at Kayley Misialek on Twitter. You can find us all at Clever_Original on Twitter. And as you are right now, listen to us each and every week on SoundCloud, iTunes, and other podcast services. And we'll catch you next week on episode 205.
Yeah.